welcome into fall 2020 Notes 1.1. We are so glad that you could join us as we begin. So going through these, we're basically reviewing Algebra 1 here, filling in some gaps maybe that you missed out or refreshing your memory from last year. So the very first thing we want to do is combine like terms. So here we go. We look at our equation and we find the like terms means it has the same variable, the same x or y or z, what have you. So if I look at this first one, I've got a 7y and a 3y. So looking at the coefficients, that's the number that's in front. I'm just going to combine those two. I'm going to add them, so I do 7 minus 3, which is actually subtraction. So the solution here then would become 5x plus 4y. Easy enough, right? I'll do another example. This one has a minus 2n and a minus 9n, and then it's got 11 and 8. So 11 and 8 add up to 19. Minus 2 minus 9, since they're both negative, it's going to become a more negative number. So this is minus 9 minus 11n. I have to follow PEMDAS whenever I do this. So if I look at number 3, I know that I must first distribute. So this is going to become 6b minus 8b plus 12. And now I've got 6b and 8b, which are like terms. So that's going to be minus 2b plus 12. Pretty straightforward. I'll zip through the next two. If you have questions, let me know. This one means to distribute to all of these. So I have to multiply that 7 to all three of them. So 7 times 8 is 56m minus 7 times 5, it's going to be minus 35y. And 7 times 2 is plus 14z. All right, and you see this one was minus 5, so that middle term is negative. It's minus 35. The last one, when I look at it, I've got an x, a y, a z, and then a constant or just a number, because there are no like terms. Each one either has a different variable or has no variable whatsoever. Then this one is already in simplest form. All the terms are combined, so it just is what it is. So just like that, easy peasy. Next step, we'll move on to solving these linear equations. We're always solving for x. So if we're solving for x, or we're solving for the variable, the first goal we want to execute is to get the variable on one side by itself and the numbers on the other. So we want to solve first for the term that has the variable. So that means first I want to get this 11x by itself. So in order to do that, I look at what's happening with the x. It's got a plus 3 on it, or 3 plus. So it's being added with 3. And to undo adding 3, the opposite of adding 3 is to subtract 3. And of course, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 3 minus 3 is 0. 11x doesn't have anything with it. So 80 minus 3 is 77. Now I've got the term by itself. Once I get the term by itself, now I can go about dividing. So I've got 11 times x, so I'm going to divide both sides by 11. So it's going to give me x equals 7. And I can go back and check it. 11 times 7 is 77. 77 plus 3 is 80. You should always check your work, even if you don't write it out. All right. Next one. I've got a minus 8. So I know if this is being, if I'm subtracting 8, to undo that, I need to add 8 to both sides. So that's going to give me 52 equals 4 minus 4m. And now I've got minus 4 being multiplied with my variable, so I'm going to divide by minus 4. Divide this by minus 4. 52 divided by 4 is 13, and it's got a negative, so negative 13 equals m. Negative 13 times 4 is positive 52. 52 minus 8 is 44. Next one, we have a fraction, and I know we're all afraid of fractions. Nobody likes them, not even mathematicians. So what we're going to do with this here fraction is first I can see it's minus 7. So I know that I can add 7 to both sides to undo that. I'm going to get n over 2 equals minus 28 plus 7 is minus 21. Now I've got n over 2. N is being divided by 2. The opposite of dividing by 2 is multiply by 2. And again, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So now my n is equal to negative 42. So negative 42 divided by 2 is negative 21. Negative 21 plus negative 7 is negative 28. That checks. So those are simple one step. I've only got a variable in one place, so I don't have to combine like terms with the variables. Next time, I've got multiple steps, so I've got a situation here where I've got to do some combining like terms or distributing to get to that variable. So we want to first make sure that all the b's or x's, all the variables are together in one term. So 4b plus 6b, 4b plus 2b is 6b, and let's combine these two terms. Minus 6 plus 12 is 6. That gives me b is equal to 1 when I divide both sides by 6. And adding 1, 4 times 1 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2, 4 plus 2 is 6, minus 6 plus 12 is positive 6. So it checks. Next, I know I have to distribute. So this is going to give me 4 times 6 is 24x multiplied in both. 4 times minus 9 is minus 36 is equal to minus 324. It's a big number, but don't worry, your calculator can handle it. So plus 36 plus 36. That's going to give me 24x is equal to minus 288. And 24 times 12, so I divide both sides by 24. And I know that 24 times 12 is 288, so that gives me x is equal to negative 12. Go back to check it, and it'll work. Third example here. I've got a couple of things I need to do. First step is I'm going to distribute 35x minus 5x. Remember, I've got to multiply times both things. And then plus 10 equals minus 20. All right, 35 minus 5 is 30x plus 10 equals minus 20. Now I've got a plus 10, so I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. That gives me 30x equals minus 30. So now I divide by 30. I get x equals negative 1. Finally, if we have variables on both sides, our goal is to get all of the x's on one side and all of the numbers on the other. So I want to get all the x's on one side, all the numbers on the other side, and then I can divide. Now, what I like to do here is make sure that I have a positive coefficient for my variable. So I'm going to move the variables around in such a manner to produce a positive coefficient. So here I've got minus 7 and plus 4. So I know that if I subtracted 4x from both sides, I'm going to have minus 7 minus 4x, which is going to give me negative something. I'd rather avoid that. So I know if I add 7x to both sides, then that's going to give me this minus 4 still here. This is going to give me 4 plus 7, which is 11x minus 26. Now I've got the x's over here on the right side, so I need to deal with this portion of it. So I'm going to add 26 to both sides. That's going to give me 22 equals 11x. Now I divide by 11, and that gives me x equals 2. And I could go back in and check. 7 times 2 is 14, so minus 4 minus 14, this side is negative 18. And over here, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 26 is also negative 18. So it checks just fine. This one I have to distribute. Again, distribute both of them. So minus 22 plus 8n equals minus 35. And 5 times n is minus 5n. Now I've got plus 8 and minus 5. So I want to add 5n to both sides. I'm going to add 5n to both sides.
going to be minus 22 plus 13n is equal to minus 35. Now I've got my n here, so I need to add 22 to both sides. That's going to give me 13n equals to minus 35 plus 22 is minus 13. Therefore, n is equal to negative 1.
And our last one, I'll try to get this not so washed out on you. Our last one, we have to distribute first. Minus 3p equals p minus 10p. Now, I've got a minus 10 that is being distributed here. All right, so the sign goes with the number. This is minus 10 times minus 6, which gives me plus 60 when I distribute, because a negative times a negative is a positive. So whenever I distribute, I'm distributing with the sign. So let's see, let's combine some like terms. Minus 3p equals minus 9p plus 60. Let's add 9p to both sides. That gives me 6p equals 60 divided by 6, and p equals 10. There you go. There's all your notes. You can refer to those. Hopefully those will be helpful to you as you work through your levels today. And